G'day, you're watching Camp and Drive Australia. I'm Jay of Jay and Bash, and the two of us thought it was about time that we recapped our 2022 half lap, which you can find in the playlists, the full videos, but we wanted to go over a few of the highlights, shall we say. As you can see from the video that's on the screen at the moment, we were off to a very wet and cold start in New South Wales coming up from Victoria. It had been pouring with rain and continued to do so throughout a couple of days that we spent going through New South Wales. The Macquarie River at Dubbo was within centimetres of bursting its banks, so we moved on to our first free camp at Pilliga National Park. It was a sandy place. There had obviously been bushfires there in the not too distant past because most of the bush was black with a lot of regrowth. Fantastic place to camp. The facilities were really nice and clean. We enjoyed it. We stayed for a couple of nights before moving on through the ongoing wet weather to visit relatives in northern New South Wales, where we were going to have some family time, and we thought we were going to relax, but unfortunately, well, we did relax, but unfortunately, as you can see, we got bogged quite a number of times just on the property. It was a bit of a disaster everywhere we went off-road in New South Wales, and when I say off-road, I don't mean on an off-road track, I mean anywhere you actually got off the bitumen. We found that the mud was as thick as, like the ground had taken all the water it could soak up and more. So it was just impossible for us to get off the road and not sink into the muck day or night. It was a pretty challenging way to start the trip when we hadn't even really gone anywhere out back yet. We were still, you know, well within our known bounds of travel, with Queensland yet to come. So the boggings were fun, but I'm glad those ones happened early. We did, however, have some more fun in the mud. I don't know about fun because we ended up getting stuck at one spot for around about 5 or 6 hours. We were lucky to have mobile phone coverage because the car was driving along quite nicely on a little dirt track when it came to a very sudden stop right there. And you can see that we just stopped dead and sank, and we were stuck right up to the door sills in mud, all four wheels buried, and the mud was just like a slurry. You could not move an inch in this stuff. So we thought, okay, we're going to have to get the max tracks out, and we started with 2 at the back. That didn't seem to be getting us anywhere, so it was on to max tracks on all 4 wheels in the hope that we could get ourselves back to firm ground, because it appeared to us at the time that we'd just broken through a bit of a crust into a boggy mess, and that if we could just back up a few feet, we might be right to go. So max tracks it was all the way around, and I can tell you, just from that digging with that tiny little shovel, I was knackered. And in the end, the shovel and max tracks weren't enough, and we had to call in the big guns from Clayton's Towing. It took me, of the 5 or 6 hours we were out there, I would say 2 or 3 hours of that after recovery was first trying to locate someone who had the equipment to come and rescue us or recover us from the mess we were in, and available to do so. And these guys, I think, were about an hour away from memory, but we were bloody happy to see them arrive. It had been raining. It wasn't cold, of course, but you know, we'd been out there for hours. It had been a nice day when we went out. It was now a dark and wet night, and to see this guy turn up with his little machine and a nice long tow rope, someone to pull us out, we thought, oh good, here we go. He'll just pull us back a couple of feet and she'll be apples. We'll be right to drive on out of here. So he hooked up. I was driving, had it in 4-low reverse, and with his help, he was giving me signals with his horn. I can't remember what it was, like 1 toot for start and 2 toots for stop, and maybe 3 toots were for you're about to hit a tree, I can't recall. But yeah, just about here, we thought we were free and clear, but it didn't work out as well as we planned, because what we found ourselves bogged in is stuff called wallum, and wallum is this particular type of muck where basically you do end up with this crust on top of apparently dry soil, and then the stuff underneath is just liquid. And we had driven unknowingly over about 300 or 400 metres of that until we finally broke the ground. And so when we were backing up, thinking we were backing up onto firmer ground, no. Turns out the entire path, or the entire track, was actually this same stuff. So we had, I don't know, 2 hours maybe of trying to get ourselves out of there. I had no steering. You know, you can see here where we almost went into a tree. And then almost into a fence. But with this guy, he was really professional, really patient. Dave was his name, so shout out to Dave. if he's watching. He did a really good trip, really good job, and he got us back out onto the main dirt road, which was a firm surface, and we were so relieved. And even after we got out, he still hung around to make, because we had to go back and get our recovery gear, our Max Tracks, dig them out of the mud. He hung around to make sure that we got back to the car okay and still had our car keys with us. And after that, it was on to Bundaberg. And of course, you can't go to Bundaberg without stopping at the Bundy distillery. So we did, we stopped there, took the pictures out the front, mandatory, went inside, had a look around, mandatory, didn't buy any rum though. So from there we were off to the Blackdown Tablelands. Now this is a place I highly recommend. I think it's under-visited, and it is an absolutely beautiful spot. It's not like the Atherton Tablelands, it's nothing quite that big, but it really is spectacular. There's a beautiful waterfall there, there's a couple of four-wheel drive tracks, the scenery is stunning, there's camping up on top of the mountains, so not great for camper trailers, possible for camper trailers, but really you just want to stick to a tent. After that we sort of headed off through Townsville on our way to one of many other Queensland waterfalls. This is Murray Falls. Again, nice campground, good facilities. The waterfall is very close to camp, so it's a ridiculously easy walk to get there. It's like 2 minutes from the campground. Two different spots you can walk to. It's got viewing platforms, stairs, very easily accessible and well worth the trip because it's pretty close to the main roads as well. So we do all of that. And after that, we headed off and did a bit of four-wheel driving, found ourselves a beautiful spot to go driving around, and we were heading along to Lake Talangi, and these are the roads that we found along the way. We wanted to take the scenic route, and as you can see, we certainly did that. The track was an easy drive. Well, it was four-wheel drive only where we went, but certainly an easy drive. The forest and the greenery, the flora and fauna along the way was beautiful, and Lake Talangi itself, had no idea this place was going to be so massive, and campgrounds everywhere. It needs a bit of pre-planning, I understand. But then we went off to Cairns and then Corunda, so we were camping up in Corunda and visiting down in Cairns. We got ourselves a nice bowl of fur and a little bit of artiness so we could have some culture. And from there we also went up to the Daintree Forest and had a bit of a drive around up there, so you should definitely check out the videos for all of this. So ultimately this was say the first third of our trip. We really enjoyed it. It's, as I said, in a playlist for Half Lap 2022. You should definitely check it out.